Hello everybody, Susan Lazar Hart here, your congruency coach, creator of the Congruent Method and Congruent Living Coaching and the Congruent Living Academy. It's a trifecta of congruency. I love it, I love it, I love it. Welcome, welcome, welcome to my friends around the world who are celebrating Rosh Hashanah, the start of the Jewish New Year. Thank you so much for being you. Have an amazing, sweet, and healthy and happy New Year to all. Let's dive into our spiritual self-care. We've been doing, for those of you who are new, we've been covering every Monday in our transformational, motivational moments, what self-care is all about. We've covered physical, we've covered emotional, we've covered mental, and we're into the last bit, as this is the last bit of September, and we're going to be talking about spiritual self-care, what it is, what it isn't, and by the end of this, I'll be offering you, I think, 3 or 4 tips on how to keep that spiritual self-care momentum going. Now, again, if you're new, come on in, say your name, where you're coming from, pop in with your questions. It's not a dialogue or a monologue, though some days it feels like it. This is a place for you to come and ask your questions. And if you're coming later, hashtag replay and write your questions in. I check in every day. And I'm so grateful for all of your comments. Late, now, present, future, just come on in. And if you're watching this way later on our Ask Susan's TV, you can comment there as well, because I get those comments all the time. And I'm so grateful for you liking and sharing these amazing moments that we have together. So, shall we begin? When was the last time you actually nurtured your spirit, right? In spirit, within. Now, I know we've said a lot and we've covered a lot over the last month about nurturing the physical body, nurturing the mental body, nurturing the emotional body, because we have all these different bodies, right? You're an infinite being who chose a body in this lifetime, and we have all these different fields, mental, physical, emotional. We're just not like in a box called body. We're all of that and more. So what we've learned is that we often forget to tune in and tap into our spiritual side. So in order to live a happy and thriving life, abundant life, all of these aspects, mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual, must be acknowledged, right? We have to acknowledge those with gratitude in order to maintain, well, overall well-being. What is well-being? It's about being congruent in every field that you play in, mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual, right? Gives you a sense of happiness, of joy, of moving forward, of the momentum in your life and your living, because actually the universal law is for more life, where you shift and change all the time. So what's spiritual self-care? So it's actually what I've discovered when I reflect on myself, and please take this time to reflect on yourself as well, it has to do with letting go of how we were raised. Like many of us believe that spiritual has to do with observing a religion or a cultural tradition, rituals, attending services, attending ceremonies, studying all different kinds of texts, T-E-C-T-S, texts. But actually, it's a totally different way of being. It's being in spirit, no matter how you get there. It's about being in spirit, in the spirit of you, that infinite being, tapping into that infinite being, and how we experience that. We all experience it in different ways. The fact that what I'm encouraging you to do this week, especially as the beginning of the Jewish New Year, is to take this time this week and tap in to that spirit that lies within you, that's there to support you, right? That's there in nature. We are not separate from nature. We are not separate from everything and everyone. We are all part of being in spirit. So ultimately, whether you get there through music or dance or being in nature, whatever that is for you, this is about gifting yourself the time to tap in, right? Shutting off the noise, tapping in, because it's anything that actually kindles a sense of sacredness within you. And it's even if it's only felt by you, because you have your own world, you have your own lens you see your world through. What is sacred to you might be different to somebody else. but we all came from spirit. We all came from that infinite spark that has actually encouraged us to move forward where we are in life right now, right in this 10 seconds. It's a personal practice, spirituality. So again, no matter what path you're going to choose or you are choosing, it all converges on desire, right? The need for connection, the need for who you truly be, to get in touch with that, and happiness and joy. It's all connected. So once again, I can't say this enough, a spiritual self-care practice is anything that connects you to your true self, to the real you, to that infinite being. And that's a raw expression of who you were meant to be and do and offer in this world, right? We didn't come here to take, to get, we came here to offer our innate knowing, our innate presence, to contribute to creating greater, not less. So how do you know where you're in that zone? Because it's energizing, it's inspiring, and it just feels right. It just feels right. It's like, yes, I'll have more of this. So perhaps you're already experiencing this, or maybe you've had a glimpse of what this might look like, and becoming familiar with how you feel. That spiritual is important in navigating you through your life. And so learning these tools that most of us were never taught, to tap in, just tap into who you truly be. You notice I'm always placing my hands in my heart. Your heart is where that comes from. And accessing that part of your spiritual self that's this journey. That's the journey. We often get disconnected or waylaid or by other people's energetically pulling on us. Yeah, anybody experienced that recently? Right? And for their world, for their desires, for their wants. Well, unless you have the capacity, the knowing, and the practice of centering yourself, of tapping in and asking questions from there, when you're asking questions from out here, you've lost your spirit, right? You've lost it. Now, it's not about lost and found. It's always there. Once you realize that, when you're caught up in somebody else's life, living projections, expectations, stop. Stop the madness. Tap in, tune in to who you truly be. The other thing too is so important to remember, your emotional and spiritual well-being have a deep influence. They're interplay, and it trickles down into your mental and physical body. And we've talked about that a lot in our last 3 weeks of our self-care series. And again, please tap in to the Ask Susan TV. I'll put the link down here, up there, and for you to tap in to where it is that you could actually reinforce your self-care. Hey, Troubler, Judith. Hey, Judith, welcome. So a practice in spiritual self-care, it quiets the mind, like that, right? It helps to calm the turbulence within. And again, it's practice. It's bringing yourself back to center, back to that true spirit that is joy, that is congruence, that is ever creating, that is ever supporting you, the human. That spirit within you is there always to support you, as are your guides, as are your ancestors, right? You're not here alone. And that's part of having a spiritual practice. It's the spiritual self-care, reminding you, you are not alone. You have your reality that might be totally different from everybody else's, and you are not alone, because we are all connected through spirit, right? So it's about calming the turbulence within, leaving space to begin feeling it, honoring what you're yearning for, your heart is yearning for, and having the courage to take the necessary actions. Now, I promised you that I would give you a few tips and tools to how to create with spiritual self-care. Remember, there's a loving energy in the universe that allows for the creation of all beings. And it's about making this energy your primary relationship. Spiritual self-care is about reinforcing that your relationship with you is your primary relationship. And listening to that, asking, what is it asking for? So I'm going to give you 4 tips on how to play with tapping into that spirit, how to maintain that spiritual self-care every day. One is practice mindfulness. I know we throw that word around a lot, but really, really to truly experience who you being in this moment. That's what mindfulness is. So once again, if you're caught up in somebody else's whirlwind, if you go into expectations or resentment or judgment or any of those kind of distractions, because they are distractions, they're not real. They're what you bought into in creating a distraction from being in spirit, spiritual, with yourself. Let go of those, those feelings. You say, oh, that actually isn't mine. That's somebody else's. Let it go. Let it flow. Put your hand on your heart. Take a deep breath in. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through your nose and exhale slowly out through your mouth. Lower your shoulder blades. Just tap in for a moment. Let go of the practice of buying somebody else's feelings, thoughts, desires as true and real for you. Let go of it. And then ask yourself, okay, in this present moment, what do I require to move forward into the next present moment? And enjoy each moment. And enjoy each moment. Gratitude, right? Enjoy each moment. I'm so happy and grateful that I'm speaking with you, that I have tea that I love and a cup that I adore that contributes to me. I'm so happy and grateful for this internet that allows us to have these kinds of conversations, right? Practice mindfulness. Get back to nature. Number 2, get back to nature. Get forward to nature, right? One of the most spiritual things you can do in your life is to spend time in nature, whether it's walking to a park, putting your hand on a tree and just saying, show me what you know, and just downloading the energy. So when I'm in nature, anywhere, I have nature surrounding me, whether it's plants in my home or a forest outside my window, whatever that is, it can be anything, right? It's about being present. It's about being present with consciousness and that rapturous feeling of contentment. Yeah. It's being present with being content. So my question might be, when was the last time that you were actually present with being content? Now, content isn't comfortable. Content is just like, yeah, in this 10 seconds, this feels so right. When you're willing to be that space, being in touch with nature, you feel the presence of that energy that you might have lost touch with in your daily life. That's why so many people enjoy having animals around them, by just putting their hand on their dog or cat or whatever that is. I have a good friend who loves her bird, and she has so much joy from being with her bird and watching how her bird interacts with other birds outside the window. It's being part of something greater than yourself, yet you wouldn't be able to be part of that greatness if you didn't have it within you. We are all connected. Third, re-energize your surroundings. I often talk about what goes in, goes out. So the power of intention, we've talked about that, works when you surround yourself with people who are on the same spiritual path as you. And by that I mean people who are also willing to tap into themselves, to their knowing, who are out of shame, blame, regret, judgment, who are just willing to be present, to be mindful, who know how to just listen, right? And listening is not just adjust, but we're taught in this reality, when we listen, we have to have a response. Well, what a great gift that is to have somebody who listens. And remember, like attracts like. You attract source energy to you by being like it. So you will attract those who can tap in, who desire to tap in to their spiritual self, who honor self-care. when you also tap into your inner self and you honor your self-care with you. It's the same thing when you continually in the company of low energy people who are angry, depressed, shaming, hateful. You might find that a lot more challenging, right? Because that's not a vibration of who you truly be as a creative and a seeker. Remember, make your surroundings like a temple of love and kindness, and pay attention to the music you're listening to the art you viewed, even the arrangements of your furniture, your flowers, all of it. I just had a friend of mine, we've been working together in a study group, and she came on and said, I'm off Facebook for the month of October. I'm going to honor myself, and I'm going to gift myself what I require to finish this course in its most successful component. That's an honoring of her. That's actually being spiritual. She's tapping into her true spirit and what her spirit desires in order for her to succeed. And she's honoring that and declaring it. And the last is get quiet. We're surrounded by noise all the time. People telling us what to do, flipping through Facebook, noise in the streets. It's just noise. Just make a choice to reduce the noise level in your life. And that's actually what she did by saying, I'm off of all Facebooks, everything for the month of October. I want to get quiet. I want to center. I want to honor my word to myself and create what I've been asking to create with. And that's what we also teach at the Congruent Living Academy. Honoring your word, getting quiet, centering yourself. What is it that you require in creating a life you love, into creating that dream life? And how can we assist you? Getting quiet. So learning to take time each day for a quiet contemplation, for just being present. I love Abraham Hicks, and she talks about just sitting quietly. As soon as you wake up, sit up and just be quiet for 10 minutes. Right? Whether you call that meditating, whether you call that being quiet, whatever that is, just before everything else comes in, just create that space of, as Dr. Joe Dispenza says, no body, no this, no nothing. That nothing space that creates everything, right? Being the space of space of space of space. And just being with that. Try it. I was once part of a modality that gave meditation a bad rap. Hey, Rebecca, welcome. Rebecca's a big time. Right? That gave meditation a bad rap. It's like, yeah, you know what? Being quiet with you is paramount to listening to that inner voice. Hey, Annie, welcome. And Marie, it's paramount in being present with you. If you're always tuning on to something else, tuning into something else, tapping into someone else, you lose touch with that voice, that strength, that inner voice, that's that knowing. Give yourself a chance, right? Make, whether you call it meditation, whether you call it just being quiet, make it a daily practice, even if it's just for 10 minutes. And there's so many apps that you can go on to that has directions on how to do that, mantras to say, specific sounds to listen to, whatever works for you. Right? For me, I just play with all of it and ask, okay, what do I require today? Right? So if you need an app with a timer, go for it. Whatever that is, play with just being present. Mindfulness, being present with you. 10 minutes every morning, 10 minutes every afternoon, 10 minutes every evening, whatever works for you. For me, first thing in the morning. And then, wow, my whole day is totally changed. And then as that being, that spiritual being, you can then look at what you have been asked to create with today and ask for those energies to be imparted in everything you do and play with today, as each day is different. So I'm going to stop for a minute and ask, are there any questions? Anything popping for people? I know with these self-care ones, I've been kind of going on, but taking notes, and for any of you who are on my newsletter, we recreated into a blog, and people are so grateful. I love the comments that you're sending me at susanlazarheart.com with response to the way that we're creating with these newsletters. And if you're not on our newsletter thread, just I will put the link there as well. And you can receive these jewels in a totally different way. And I wonder truly what else is possible. What else is possible? I don't see any questions today. Thank you, Anne-Marie and Rebecca and Judith, for coming on. I so appreciate you and all of those of you who are listening quietly in the background. I love it. Again, if you have any questions after the fact, write them on in. And you know I'm always there responding. Oh, Rebecca says hugs. Hugs back to you, Rebecca. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I'm going to leave you with this quote from Swami Sivananda. He reminded his students, silence is the language of the gods. Ask in silence, right? Listen in silence. Let silence be your jumping off point for becoming at one with the creative force of the universe, which, my friends, is who you truly be as seekers and creatives. Rebecca says, I'm glad I was able to join on live. Me too, Rebecca. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you. Until we meet again next Monday for our transformational motivational moments. Again, if you have a specific theme you'd like us to cover as we move through the months, we're almost at the end of 2022. Whoa, right? What are you creating? How are you creating with these months? Anything you'd like extra assist on, write it in and let me know, and I will make sure to include it in our topics as we move through. Until we meet again, live boldly, love greatly, and be that fearless leader you came here to be. One who is willing to listen, create that space, honor that space that's within. We're all connected, right? Whether it's to a plant, a tree, a being, we are all connected. That's our spiritual self-care, is the acknowledgement that we came here to create a difference. That's our mission. All you do is remind yourself, whenever you find you're going like, rah, remind yourself, that's your mission. That's who you came here to be. And go out and enjoy yourself with this one true precious life that you chose in this lifetime on this planet today. Have an amazing day. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.